Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on high-performance computing. Today, my guest is from Allinea Software. We have Patrick Wohlschlegel. He is the EMEA's pre-sales engineer for the company. So Patrick, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks for coming on. You know, I brought your slides up. It looks like an overview of what Allinea is up to. Why don't we start with that and we'll follow it with Q&A.
All right, that's perfect. Okay, so thank you for giving us some time to express and to tell about what we are doing in Allinea Software. So, slide number 2. In this presentation, what I will tell you is about the recent announcement that we have made in Allinea Software. I will tell you about our activities, our collaborations. After that, I will mention how we raise awareness to the end users. And we will talk after this about the events that are coming this summer. So now let's focus to our recent collaborations and activities. As you know, Allinea Software has announced last week about the Blue Waters project we have won with Cray. So actually, the Blue Waters project is from NCSA in the United States, and as you know, they have made a very big cluster, a Cray cluster, with around 400,000 processes, and it is about 12 petaflops. So NCSA has chosen Allinea debugger to debug on that big cluster. And the reason for that is because we have created our tool, our development tool, Allinea DDT, in order to answer the developer's need. So the past 3 years, we have worked a lot with the vendors like Cray, like Bull, but also with some collaborations like the CEA in France, the Oak Ridge National Lab, and Lawrence Livermore. So basically what happens is that thanks to those partnerships, we have been able to develop and to integrate within Allinea DDT a very strong architecture that enables us to work at scale and that enables us to debug on GPU machines. Next slide. All right. So, and thanks to these developments we have made, we are now entering the intelligence era. So basically, if we look at what is happening, I can give you a good example about, for instance, the calculators that are moving to computers. What happens is that in order to build a computer, you need a very reliable basis, a calculator, and you need to add some more mechanisms inside that to make it something intelligent, capable of thinking on its own. So it is the exact same pattern that we are following with Allinea DDT. In the past, Allinea DDT was a simple debugger that was based on a very robust and stable architecture. But now we are integrating more and more some intelligence within the product, some data management, and we start to integrate automatisms within Allinea DDT. So those automatisms can be found very easily within the graphical interface because, as you know, when using Allinea DDT, the graphical interface really adapts to the environment and will change depending on what you're doing. Moreover, the data management really helps to display the right information to the developer. So if we look at the tracepoint feature, for instance, we have made a very scalable and intuitive printf that can be used within our graphical interface. Next slide. So all the users benefit from our intelligence, and basically when we are talking to people, most of them are asking us, yeah, that's right, so you have won the Blue Waters project, which is a huge project, but how does it help me in my everyday life? So there is a good example around this, is like the Formula 1. You know that all the constructors that are making cars, they are in the Formula 1 races. And all the high-end technology that they are developing in those races are later adapted and integrated within the everyday car. So basically, it's exactly the same for us. So thanks for the collaborations we made with very high-end customers, we are capable of addressing the needs of our very vast majority of customers. And those customers are working on a workstation or on a few hundred processes on a small cluster. So if they are choosing us today, is because this high technology is really relevant to what they need. And there are lots of examples within Allinea DDT that are real and that can really help them to debug faster. Those examples are, for instance, the spark lines that help to actually look at the variables across distributed environments, or the offline debugging, which is very useful if you want to debug in a non-interactive mode. And as you know, we are also working and we are supporting GPU and the new standard OpenACC within Allinea DDT. So basically, what happens is that thanks to the experience we have with our petascale customers for years now, and we are the only one to have that, thanks to this experience, we are able to deliver a very good software to our customers and to actually be very well integrated within any environment, from a workstation to a cluster. Next slide. So as a software company, we still have some problems that we need to address. And one of those problems is to raise the awareness among the customers and the end users. Next slide. So what happens is that if we look at the market trends, we can see that the number of processes that are being used on the cluster is increasing drastically. So all the pressure that was once on the chip makers, because they had to increase the frequency in order to increase the power of a calculator, all this pressure has now moved to the software developer side. And now everything relies on them. So the need for a debugger really exists because the developers need to move their codes to work on parallel environments. They need to write parallel codes, they need to write them and to use all the cores that are made available to them. So there is a strong peer pressure. They really need a debugger to actually write their code faster and to make them to retrieve the results faster. And this is why the awareness is critical, because some people out there are not aware that Allinea DDT exists, and basically it's a shame. So in order to have all the people out there know that we actually have a very good product, we have worked extensively on our marketing side. So for instance, we have a blog which is regularly updated on our website, which is www.allinea.com/blog. We also have white papers that gives some very good insights about the capability of the product and what we can actually do with Allinea DDT. So for instance, our latest white papers has been created with caps around HMPP and directive debugging. So this is available online and everyone can just download it and actually learn about what we can do with Allinea DDT. And we have also created a series of webinars. So next slide. The series of webinars is called Intelligent Within, and for each webinar we actually focus on one subject, one technical subject, and we show the customers and the persons who attend this webinar how Allinea DDT can help them. So the forthcoming webinars are Allinea DDT and incorrect results, which is actually a vast question. So this will take place on the 24th of May. And after this, we will have another webinar in June, on the 7th of June, around the deadlocks. So anyone can attend. It's free. There's nothing to do. You just need to register online on our webinar website, www.allinea.com/webinars, and just register, and you will receive the invitation, and you are welcome. All those webinars are recorded, so anyone who wants to look at them and to watch them afterwards can just go on the website and see all the past topics that have been made. So once again, it is free, anyone can come. Next slide. So basically what happens is that this was very useful for existing customers and also for the customers that do not know us. But we have understood that all the customers we have, even those that are a bit familiar with Allinea DDT, need to be trained in order to actually ramp up and to be able to get the best of Allinea DDT. So in order to do that, we have provided, and we are providing them with some answers. One of those answers are, for instance, the tutorials that we are making. So the tutorials are very short videos from 15 seconds to 2 minutes They are available online once again, and they can just look at one particular feature of Allinea DDT. So we explain how it works, how to do it. It's very, very short, very useful. We can also create some remote webinars. So sometimes our customers want us to organize a very specific session because they have questions. So it is typically we can organize that, and we can deliver a huge amount of content to a particular customer if he requires. And eventually, if there is a more important need, and if the users are actually experts that need to learn more, for instance, around the raw commands in Allinea DDT, we can go on site and make an in-depth training. Can be 1 day, can be 2 days. So basically what happens is that with this, our customers have all the weapons and are ready to use Allinea DDT using the best. We have also created the CUDA education pack. So basically what happens is that some of the customers are teachers, because we work a lot with universities, and they are teaching CUDA to their students. But we have seen that those teachers did not really have the materials to teach debugging on CUDA machines. So we have provided, and we have created an educational pack around Allinea DDT and CUDA, which contains materials, exercises, quizzes, and of course licenses of Allinea DDT for a classroom. So they can just show Allinea DDT to their students and teach them how to debug with a professional tool that they will encounter on the future company in the market. Next slide. So obviously Allinea is a good company, and we really like to go and meet our customers, and to do that there are some forthcoming events that are coming very soon. So next slide. And those events are ISC 2012 and Supercomputing 2012. So as you know, ISC will be between the 15th of June and the 20th of June. So once again, we are taking part in that event very closely to the vendors, and there will be a training session organized by our CTO, David Lecomber. So you just need to register, and you will be welcome to attend and see how to really use Allinea DDT. Supercomputing will be in November in Salt Lake City in the US, so we will be present, obviously, and once again, you can just visit us at our booth. Basically, those two events are very important because they are a good reason for us to actually make some announcement. So in ISC and Supercomputing, we will announce some brand new features and things that do not currently exist on the market, and that will be integrated within our products. And those features will help all our customers. So if you want to learn more about that, you just need to come and pay a visit, and we will be pleased to let you know about everything we are doing. So next slide. So I think that I am done with all the different points. Next slide. So if I make a summary of what I said, Allinea DDT is working very tightly with laboratories around the world, and thanks to those collaborations, we are the only company out there that is making a debugger and that has a petascale experience for years at the service of the customers. So what we are doing today benefits to everyone. So thanks to the architecture we have made within Allinea DDT, thanks to the features, the extensive features we have created, everyone who is working from the humble workstation to the cluster can use Allinea DDT and can really improve his development experience. And this is true because of our unique feature set that we have integrated. In order to follow up with our customers, we have created lots of mechanisms, webinars, tutorials that really help, because we think that communication is key to our customers. They really need to learn and to hear about us. So what we do is that we really want our customers and people out there to learn about Allinea DDT, to be able to use it very easily, because it is a very simple and easy to use tool, but if they do not know it exists, they will not use it. And of course, we try to be present everywhere at any event. So I know that last week we were in GTC with NVIDIA. We will be at ISC 2012. We will be at supercomputing. We participate a lot, doing some training sessions and working with the vendors. And you are more than welcome to come and visit us at our booth. So last slide. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can just contact us at support@allinea.com for the technical team and sales@allinea.com if you have any commercial question. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that. A couple questions here. I'm thinking about how I would debug a system as big as Blue Water's and how I would prepare for even doing that, because there is no machine of that scale, right? So, I mean, how does it work? I mean, do you just make like a virtual system that has that many threads, or what does the testing environment look like?
Well, basically, as you say, there are not a lot of environments of this size to actually do some testings, and we have no choice but to actually use the machines that are made available for us. So basically, as you know, there are already some systems that currently exist and that have been tried. For instance, we know that we are using the machine at Lawrence Livermore that is more than 200,000 processes. So thanks to the experience we have with them, thanks with the collaborations we have, we can really sometimes try Allinea DDT and some features on very big machines. But what happens is that we are doing lots of research and development. So we are doing it in a clever way. It means that if the complexity and the development that is made within Allinea DDT and the design is good, then it will be very possible to move it to another and big cluster.
And so when we talk about debugging, is there also a performance optimization element to that from the Allinea standpoint?
Yes, of course. So Allinea DDT is obviously the debugger and is our flagship product. But we also have Allinea OPT, which is the optimizing and profiling tool. And basically, in the next few months, there will be some great announcement because we are making a very big evolution of Allinea OPT. And of course, you will be more than welcome to discuss that with us at our booth when the events come.
Well, terrific. So, looking forward, as these machines, evolve into maybe tens of millions or billions of threads, is Allinea already looking at how to debug systems like that?
Yes, so we are taking part also in some other collaborations like Cresta project. So the Cresta project is working toward the exascale systems, and indeed there are lots of new problems that will appear. So the consortium behind the Cresta is currently looking and investigating about what will be the problematics, and we are part of this. And currently one of the problems we are facing is around the failure. Because when you're working in a huge system like this, with millions of processes, what will happen is that every 2, 3, 5 minutes, there will be one server somewhere that will just fail and that will not be usable anymore. So it triggers some problems about how to make Allinea DDT and the software be able to run even when the machines fail. So it's a big challenge, but we are really working on that, and obviously we will find some solutions when the time comes.
Well, Patrick, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show today.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
You bet, you bet. Okay, folks, that's it for the Rich Report. Stay tuned for more news and information on high-performance computing.